Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the June meeting of our Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety meeting. We have, I think, a full quorum or our team there, and so that's awesome. So we want to dive right in, and if we can, we'll show the agenda. Okay, so first things first, can we have a motion to call the meeting to formal order?
I so moved.
Art? Diane, second? Vote? Okay, everyone's unanimous. Then we'll go ahead and review the agenda. This is this is the same thing that we think we sent out earlier to you all and was published, so there's really no change to this. The blue is sort of our normal format. And then we're going to focus, this is really a working meeting toward the end to focus on our Wave 3.0 initiative and the stuff we're doing with the digital implementation of that. So that's sort of the flow. So do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Dan, thank you.
Second.
Mark, thank you. Vote?
Aye.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is now we have the agenda is we're going to veer off the agenda for a little bit. And Mike Shriver from the ABC group of Mariners Bethel, one of our real partners. We talk about Mike, but his whole team. It's just a fabulous group, and they are actually presented or recognized in our presentation a little bit later today for their work. But Mike, let me turn the program over to you. If you can go to so people can hear you and see you, that would be great. Just introduce yourself, Mike. You'll do it better than I will. Huh?
Do you have people online?
I think we do. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. And Mickey and committee, thank you very much for allowing me to crash your committee. But it's for good reason, because I'm here to recognize a good person. So in my non-ABC work, I support an organization called Bell Socialization Services. They've been in business for 60 years. It's a nonprofit organization. And the organization supports people with significant mental illness, homelessness, people with disabilities. And they've done it in the York County community for 60 years. And they launched an initiative this year called the Good People Award. It's just a recognition of people in the community who make a difference every day, and they're selfless in their ability to serve the community and do what's right every day. And I always love it whenever I get the sound effects behind.
Good timing.
Yeah, good timing. So I was honored to receive the recognition from a number of the staff that I work and work with there at the organization. And in honor of their 60th year, the challenge is that they want to recognize 60-plus individuals who they see as good people. And if you're recognized, you're challenged, right? You're recognized for the work you do, but then they challenge you to recognize 3 other people in your community. And the good news is for this person that I'm going to recognize is it stops with you. You don't have to recognize 3 more people. So I thought it was great that, living in this area, which is a wonderful, wonderful area, it's a great way for us to recognize people in our community who do good work every day. So I'm here today to recognize Chief Foley.
So, Mike, thank you very much. I know you got to run, but we are going to give recognition to your team and your contribution for a number of different things, but particularly at the St. Anne's event with the J1 and the work you all do with the training, both the instructional piece, but as well as putting it out on the road in terms of actually demonstrating competency and the like. So it's fantastic. You all are an amazing asset to our community, so thank you for you and your whole team. It's awesome to partner with you and and be on the same docket with you all. It's amazing work.
The partnership is reciprocal because we couldn't do it without the support of you all and the town. So thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Super.
Take care, Mike.
You know, just to build on, Amy, do you want to take the microphone? Can we? No, but you know, we've done this before, but and I think it's worth doing one more time. I had a conversation with Dan while we were chatting in front of our mailboxes the other day. But we are so fortunate as a town. One, we have an amazing group of folks who volunteer their time and energy, and you all are that, and it's just an honor for Teresa and I to represent the council and be on this team as one of equals, right? But it's also especially important to recognize the contributions of Julie and Chief Foley, because they have full-time jobs, right? They don't just sit here and come to our meetings. They have full-time dockets, and the time and energy that they devote to this is amazing. And so we just are ever thankful and appreciate those efforts throughout. So thank you. Dan, do you want to add anything? Because you were...
Well, you told me I had to say something about you. Echo, well, that's right, Mickey, that's what we were talking about, and thanks, but also to Teresa, to you as well, and actually everybody who helps us. I think there's some conversation about making Raylene an honorary member of the committee.
That's already happened.
That's already happened.
Raylene and Will.
And Will, who conducts all of this like a symphony orchestra leader. But no, thank you, Mickey, that's well-deserved.
Okay, great, thank you. So let's go back to the agenda. We'll review and approve the meeting notes from both April 23rd and May 21st. Raylene, once again, thank you for the thoroughness, conciseness. Excellent work. For not being here for one of those meetings, it was, I felt like I was there, to be honest, honestly, reading the notes. So I know, Mark, you've made a couple of upgrades already.
Yes, already made the changes.
Already made the changes. Boy, that's not a surprise, is it? But do we have a motion to accept the notes as presented? Let's do both meetings together unless there's any.
So moved.
Do we have a motion to?
So moved.
So moved. Mark? Second. Art? Third from Bob? Okay. Do we have a vote to approve as accepted? Okay, great. Thank you. I want to move into the next contact. This is safety contact, and this is just, again, a sort of a, not anything prepared, but in a number of conversations, well, actually, let me open it up. Anyone else have a safety contact on the dais? Go ahead, Mark, please.
Actually, two things. One, reading about one of the recent fatalities, it's mentioned in the article that the bicyclist was heading east in the westbound lane, or west in the eastbound lane, but on the wrong side. And I've been seeing a lot of that lately, where the cyclists are helmeted and careful and everything, and in the bike lane, but on the wrong side of the road.
Right.
And so, you know, I continue to think that the direction of travel issue is a really important one. And then the other thing I saw just last week was, so a young man on a bike, young adult, no helmet, holding a shopping bag in one hand on the handlebars, and ears completely covered with headphones. So, I mean, if anything happened,
Right.
could be really bad. So, and, you know, I wasn't able to try and stop him and say something, but I know we've discussed whether that's even a good idea, but,
Right.
I mean, very, very unsafe riding.
Yeah. So we'll probably delve into those a little bit more, but I think to your point, Mark, if we have an opportunity to engage somebody around it, sometimes that's hard. You might be in your car, you see something, and you're not going to stop traffic and jump out and talk to somebody. But there are other opportunities where we can engage people, and I know you all try to do that as much as you can, and we all do. So that's really where we can have the conversation and try to change people's beliefs, raise their awareness of what the potential risk is, and ultimately they're going to have to make a decision, right? And that's the best we can do, and that's why you all do what you do is with that kind of passion. The thing I wanted to share a little bit, this was really a conversation Art and I were having the other day while we were walking about, was, and it's something I think I'd like us to consider maybe going forward, is we do a lot of things about visibility, rules, but one thing that I've been a little bit more aware of and trying to notice is how many people actually have rear view mirrors on their bikes, right?
Not many.
Not many, because if you don't have a rear view mirror on your bike, you really can't understand what's coming up behind you. So even if you're in the right lane, going in the right direction, you can see what's in front of you, but you can't see what's coming behind you. And that's really important. And the thing I shared with Art, and we had a good conversation, is I always try to challenge myself. I go up Route 1 a lot. That's sort of my preferred, because I like the space, right? Yeah, there's cars coming at a high rate of speed, but I can see them from a long way away. I mean, right? It's straight, it's flat, and I'm trying to make sure every car that goes by me doesn't surprise me. I know it's coming, and I've made a sort of a mental check to say, is it in the lane? Is it swerving? Is it out of control? That kind of thing. Because I can always get off the road. If I have to ditch it and go into I can do that, but I can only do it if I'm being mentally focused on what's going on. So I just offer that up to maybe something we want to consider down the road in terms of encouragement or even giving things out that might have something to do with being able to see from the rear view. So that's the safety contact. So thank you, Mark, for building that. Art, any add to what I know you actually sort of got us going, so.
Well, no, we had a good conversation about it, but again, what I'm seeing, especially with the electric bikes, you can see something coming up behind you, and you can figure, okay, well, this is a biker, and the biker's usually going around 10 miles an hour, so you can kind of estimate when they're going to approach you. But with these electric bikes, they're so fast, I mean, the next thing you know, they could be like right behind you. So having the mirror, I think, makes a big difference. And then, as I mentioned in the note to Julie the other day, one of the things that I do as a biker is I'm constantly trying to be aware of what's around me, but part of it, I'm guessing, relates to sound. And in turn, when I can hear a car coming, then that kind of gives me warning as to what might be there. But the electric cars, being as quiet as they are, sometimes they can come up and you're not aware of them just because you don't hear anything. But again, with the mirror, that would make a big difference in terms of just being able to see the electric cars coming up, seeing other bikers. There's any number of benefits that the mirror gives you, and especially when we get into the busy season when there's a lot of people out here doing a lot of different things, I think being able to see behind you makes a big difference. And you don't want to have to be constantly, trying to crane your head around to see what's going on.
Yep.
So again, I think the mirrors are a great idea. I mean, the reflectors are wonderful.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that helps. Having the lights flashing both on the front and the back are really important. But again, having the mirror, I think, really adds in a different dimension that really helps improve safety.
And this is always about just continuing to think forward, right? I mean, the things we've done before are great. It's just what do we want to do next to sort of keep that edge, keep that being innovative and thoughtful about how we engage people. So that's great. The other thing, just as you mentioned, because that's one of our key senses when you're biking is hearing, right? Being able to see things. So when you've got somebody with those earmuffs that are really do a pretty good job of literally canceling just about everything, that's incredibly dangerous, right? Because you literally can't hear a car or a horn or something coming behind you maybe. And I know the practice I try to use, and I do use a earbud, but I always just put it in my right ear so my left ear is open. And I can hear, I can hear the music, but I can also hear everything coming up beside me. You know what I mean? So I can sort of have the best of both worlds for a longer ride, Okay, great. Thank you for those comments. That's the whole idea of a safety contact, to get our mind in the game, think about real life situations. So let's move into the leadership reports. Terry, anything from the town?
I would just mention that we still do not have the pedestrian lights, and maybe the chief can shed some light on it in his report, but we've had questions, and people are asking us about it, so, but I do want to introduce this guy to my right. This is Sam Sandler. He's our student intern for the summer. Sam's a Emory University, let me see, he's got a long list of stuff that he's majoring in. He works with the College of Arts and Science, and he's getting a degree in political science and psychology. which is right up my alley. So it's going to go, he's pre-law, basically. But he's going to be helping us with our public access plan and our COOP plan, and we trying to hook him up with Kathy Rossi because he does have great writing ability. So I think you were keeping him pretty busy, but welcome, Sam. We're glad to have him, and
Welcome,
so far,
Sam.
so
Thank
good.
So if I can, Mickey, I just want to make one comment about the intersection here at 26 and 1, that the mayor has recently made contact with Senator Hocker and Representative Gray to see if they can make some progress with DelDOT to get, because it seems to just be a programming issue at this point. Everything is installed. So we're trying to move our project to the top of the list.
Mayor, did you want to add anything other than that, or? I mean, I know you've taken a lead on this for us, so. Please. Sure. No, because this is really something that we're extremely proud of. I mean, that's
Well,
something I highlight, but
I
we're
mean,
at a point right now where it's,
The 4th of July is a week from Saturday.
4th of July is a week from Saturday, and we've actually made it. Yeah, so go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, we did
Mayor.
reach out to Senator Hocker and Representative Gray, and because it's just been so slow over here, and you know, what is going on? You know, I know Public Works has had a hard time, you know, getting something out of them, getting any kind of commitment. I did get something back from them, and well, it was forwarded on from Hawker to DelDOT, and then DelDOT got back and said a few things that aren't quite correct, so we're correcting that now. But they did commit to having it done by the 4th, so hopefully that's the case.
Okay.
And we'll be on them.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor, for jumping on that and keeping it going. Appreciate it. The other thing, since Sam is here, and he talked about his writing skills, he actually did an internship before with Coastal Point, right? And he actually had to interview me. Sam and I are next door neighbors, but I'm really and amazingly impressed with this young man. It's really I always learn every time I chat with him, pretty much every day now that he's here. But when he was interviewing me about our project on Collins Street, right, and what was going on and the like, and Sam literally spent about an hour in advance just doing some prep work before the interview, just so he could make sure that the questions he wanted to get into this guy, we just literally sat there and chatted, and it was all in his mind getting prepped for the conversation. And it was awesome. So that's just the work ethic and the approach that Sam brings to the table.
We're trying to make him specialize in governmental law, but,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so, Chief?
Yep.
Police Department report?
Yep.
Do you need a?
You want the clicker? Yeah.
Yeah, please. Thanks. Just a few things. One, Mayor, to follow up on the intersection 1 and 26, I reached out to DelDOT this week as well. It's in the hands of the signal supervisors. So I think they're being bombarded by members of Bethany Beach. So we got them where we want them. I was told 4th of July as well, so I'm glad they're sticking to the script. Most importantly, I just want to thank everybody. I know Mike Shriver left. Quite honored. Didn't expect that. Very grateful for that. Again, to sound like Mickey Hinman, it's a team effort. I wish all the police department was here to receive it. It's a team effort. Very grateful and very honored. I actually thought when I walked in here this morning I was being kicked off the committee. I seem to be getting further this way. Yeah. All right, so I have quite some information, my PowerPoint slides here. One, I just want to thank Sergeant Chuck Sharp and PFC Molly Ryan for their presentation. June 8th, the shoplifting and bike safety seminar at Town Hall. I think there's only 3 businesses in town. That's 3 people we can spread the message to, and hopefully it blossoms. From that, I do want to thank them for their time. They were both off on that day and came in here to do that presentation, so very grateful for that. The day after, June 9th, big thank you to St. Anne's Church as well as the ABC Bike Ministry, Mike Shriver and his group. They had 30 students registered for, I think it was 26 or 28 students that were registered from the ABC Bike Ministry to show up and actually go through the bike class and be handed out a bike. And I think we had a total of 30 students attend. So by my math, our outreach, which was a ton, we went door to door, we paid for a paid advertisement in Coastal Point, we spread it on social media. We only had 2 students show up, and we reached out to their employer. So it's very defeating on our side to try to make this program successful and not have the participation from the businesses and those who employ the J1s. But because of Mike and his group, 26 or 28 of them were directly involved with the ABC Bike Ministry. So very grateful for them. Our officers, the seasonal officers, were talking to them, the students that were in there. Some countries that include China, Bosnia, Turkey, and Kazakhstan, all from many different backgrounds. We handed out 30 reflective bags. The police department stuffed them with the first aid kits, the bike light sets, the reflective magnetic lights that we got from the grant from the Office of Highway Safety. They're very thrilled to have that. For some reason, those kids love the police cars and got some pictures here. The police cars, the fire trucks, the ambulances, they love it. They couldn't get enough. We got a lot of good pictures from that event. Just wanted to share this. There's 4 of the best ones I took there and threw them on. June 23rd, Bethany Beach Police Department, big thank you to St. Martha's for their foreign student picnic. I know some members of the committee were there as well. The rain did not stop. I think it just kind of kept everybody inside. The police department unfortunately had a priority call. We had to leave. We weren't able to get any pictures. But I want to thank Patrolman Tressler and our seasonal officer, Villarol, who responded and went to that as well. They had a lot of good conversations the short time that they were there with a lot of students. Some news, the town crosswalks that were installed, 26 in Treetop Lane and then right across the street from Wawa, those are up and running. The one on the left there is right across from Wawa, and the one on the right is in the area of Grottos. Bad news, the one across from Wawa was struck last night by a vehicle traveling eastbound. Don't know specifically what happened. Vehicle we have on camera just couldn't get a license plate, was traveling eastbound. I don't know if they swerved or were going to rear end a vehicle, they weren't paying attention, but it went into the center median, took out the Del Dot sign and continued eastbound. Del Dot is aware they're going to come back out and erect that sign. That did not take too long. I have noticed there's a lot of pedestrian activity to and from work whenever I'm out on patrol. The one across from Bethany Diner, every time I drive through it, there's a lot of activity in there, and then a lot of activity from Wawa and the laundromat across the street, so they are definitely working, they're definitely being utilized. It's also slowing traffic down a little bit too in that congested commercial district too. We talked on this months ago, it's finally produced. The creativity gang, I like to call it, worked on all these flyers. We put a lot of messages out there. My officers probably had 5 or 6 that they composed, and I took the best 3. This one is going to be our Bike Smart flyer. I think when we initially spoke, the idea was to get these kind of posted in the trolley. Didn't really work based on the inside structure of the trolley. We didn't want to pass out literature flyers and inundate people with information. A good spot to put them was the doors of the trolley. Didn't feel like that was a good option because people aren't going to be reading material while they're walking in and up the trolley. So we are going to put these on the sandwich board signs. These go back to COVID for mask enforcement and juvenile curfew, those big sandwich signs. We're going to put 2 feet by 3 foot coroplast boards, and we got these flyers going out on them. So they're in production right now. I hope to have them by July 4th weekend. I hope they don't become airborne and into the ocean like other stuff around town here, but there's a lot of useful information on it. This is the specific Bike Smart one. It's highlighted with some bike laws and some things that officers notice on patrol that people should focus on. And the message is ride safely, be predictable, be visible, and get home safely. Has the police department phone number and our social media handles on it. This is another one. We're doing a lot of OHS campaigns. This kind of piggybacks off some OHS stuff that we're doing. Drive sober or get pulled over. This is kind of geared towards drug use, not just necessarily alcohol. A lot of people, marijuana is somewhat legalized, so A lot of people, there's an uptick in drug-involved DUIs, so we wanted to get that message out there as well. This is going to be another safety flyer. And then the last one is kind of a very broad, includes pedestrians, motorists, crosswalk usage, distracted driving. We kind of threw a lot of ideas into this one. So we use a lot of officers, a lot of town vehicles. We wanted to make it separate from the broad, generic Office of Highway Safety for the whole state of Delaware. So these are some local things that we got out. Julie and I will put these on the social media handles for the upcoming weekend. Get them out there, and they'll also be out on the sandwich boards. We're going to police those and take them out, put them in a safe, secure spot, maybe 10 o'clock at night. Put them back out 7 or 8 in the morning. Take them out during weather. We're thinking Garfield, 100 block, 200 block, boardwalk, bandstand area, just to get the message out. All right. Before I speak on this, there has been some fatal accidents involving cyclists. I'm not going to speak on them because they didn't happen in this jurisdiction, and I don't know specifically what occurred on each. I do know one was just south of Dewey Beach. A motorist clipped a cyclist for unknown reasons that was in the southbound lane of travel. Unfortunately, ended up being a fatal. We had another fatal, 26 Millville, Alcasapula's area. It was a wrong-way cyclist that was hit head-on by a drunk driver. That unfortunately was a fatal as well. We also had one in the area of Hawkers, Cedar Neck Road. I believe alcohol was involved in that. That was a electric bike, I think, was going a little too fast. And that was 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Seeing all this stuff on social media, I know there was some internal communication and emails with the committee members of just the broad general information of the accidents. It's been on the news, it's been on Delaware State Police, social media. I wanted to get ahead of it and start. We also do, the police department does our education outreach. We also do Office of Highway Safety for targeted offenses along Route 1 and Coastal Highway. I wanted the police department to start proactively educating more than addition just overtime while on patrol, speaking to offenders that could do violations right in front of us. So now we're starting to pull people over and get the message out that these fatal accidents have been outside the limits of Bethany, and I want to keep it that way. So I think our officers proactively educating or enforcing these issues is going to help us succeed in that. This right here was 1:40 p.m. on June 14th. I think I only have 4 or 5. We could be here for 2 weeks if I take screenshots of body camera footages. I just have a couple in here to show it's all day and all night that we're doing this. This is at 1:40 p.m. There was 3 juvenile cyclists, hence their faces are grayed out, riding southbound with their helmets on, southbound in the northbound lane along Coastal Highway. The officer got out. I watched his body cam. He waited maybe 45 seconds. He saw them about a mile away. He waited for them to approach, had a very casual conversation with them, shook all their hands. That's the message we're trying to get out there. They'll never do that again. They didn't have to get a ticket. They just got a little bit of education from an officer that they can take home and spread the word to their friends. The next one, this is at the traffic light at St. Anne's. This is the dash cam from one of our officers, I think coming back from Wawa to eat their lunch. They were at the red light, which is pictured, traveling eastbound, and a cyclist with, I think this is 10:37 in the morning, had a surfboard and a beach chair strapped behind them, and probably 15, 16 miles per hour blew through that red light. So the officer, when the light turned green, flipped the lights on, told them to pull off on the side road, and had a little education session on the side of the road. No ticket was involved, but a little education session that kind of explained why that was a wrong move. So the next one, our seasonal officers are also doing the same exact thing. This isn't the seasonal officer pointing and yelling at the subject. He's pointing to where the incident occurred. I just want to throw that out there. This is at 5:24 p.m. The cyclist was not riding fast at all, but he drove through a crosswalk in front of Core Brothers, Garfield, Atlantic Avenue, with numerous pedestrian activity in it, and the seasonal officer took it upon themselves to educate and tell the guy that he had to yield to the pedestrians. No ticket was involved, just an educational thing. Ended up with a handshake between all three parties. This was at 11:45 p.m. One of our officers, this is the dash cam, noticed 2 or 3 pedestrians right here at the intersection of 1 and 26. They recognized the motorist of a car. They jumped on the sideboards of the motor vehicle and then took off from this intersection like 25, 30 miles per hour, and the officer flipped on the lights. Near-death incident. If one of these kids fell off, the officer pulled them off, educated the passengers that jumped on the door handles and side rails of this pickup truck, and the operator was given a traffic citation for that offense. So again, this is a near-death incident. If something occurred or if they slammed on their brakes, the officer took it upon themselves to give a ticket to the operator, which I feel is fully justifiable. Just, again, goes to show our outreach of education and enforcement and why it works. A few noticeable accidents we had since our last meeting. I wasn't here in our last meeting. I was at a Chiefs conference up in Dewey, but we did have one May 8th. It was State Route 1 southbound at Pine Street, just north of Central Boulevard. Somebody was slowed and stopped for pedestrian activity at this intersection. It was a 3-car pileup, boom, boom, boom. 2 people weren't paying attention, struck the 3rd car. The operator at fault was cited for that offense for following too closely and inattentive driving. No pedestrians were injured in this, but it was due to the pedestrian activity of the flashing beacons being properly used. Memorial Day weekend, the weekend after Memorial Day weekend, May 31st, 11:30 a.m., North Pennsylvania Avenue in Campbell is right in front of Bethany Blues. There was a Ford Focus that sideswiped an electric bike cyclist that was traveling in the bike lane. The cyclist was doing what they're supposed to do. Not sure what the operator was thinking, but he got cited for failure to maintain lane and inattentive driving. Person fell off their bike, fell off on the side of the road, very, very minor injuries on the cyclist, but the operator was issued a citation. Last weekend, we had the intersection of Oakwood Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. There was a PT Cruiser making a legal right-hand turn onto the 200 block of Oakwood Street. There was a J1 student on an electric bike that approached the stop sign, slowed down, believed that the motorist was traveling northbound with the bike. The motorist then made an abrupt right-hand turn on Oakwood Street. They found a valid beach parking spot and thought it would be safe to pull in there. Clipped the J1 student that was on an electric bike. They stopped, but they accelerated it and it went a little faster than usual. She had a couple bumps and bruises. We got her checked out on scene, refused all medical attention. The officer ended up taking her and the bike back to her employer and got them taken care of. But the operator that was involved in that was the motorist, and they were cited for a traffic offense. I just found this last night on the internet. This is a surprise to everybody. This is the Office of Highway Safety commercial that was shot. I was investigating last night, seeing or not if it was going to be thrown on the internet. I found it on the website. It's on Arrive Alive, Delaware, their Office of Highway Safety website. There's numerous, I get a lot of information, a lot of pamphlets, a lot of educational tools from this website. They have maybe 16 tabs for bike safety, pedestrian safety, DUI offenses, you name it, they have it. This is on one of those tabs. I don't know if it's fully out in the public yet, but it is out there. I found it last night. I saved it and threw it in this PowerPoint. It's like a minute and a half. We were out there for maybe 4 hours doing this shoot. It was very difficult. They used the footage here. I don't know. Well, how do I play this?
I'm Chief Patrick Foley of the Bethany Beach Police Department. Our population increases from 1,200 full-time residents to nearly 30,000 visitors on any given weekend in the summer. To get to the beach safely, our visitors have to cross many major roads. Coastal Highway is one of them. To make crossing safer for pedestrians, we've installed special pedestrian crossings like this one, using rapid rectangular flashing beacons. When a pedestrian hits the button, it activates an orange flashing light which alerts drivers that pedestrians are present. The pedestrian waits for all drivers to come to a stop, and then safely crosses. Unfortunately, too many people hit the button and then just dart across the road, not looking to see if traffic is actually stopped, and that's dangerous. A lot of our visitors are very distracted. We call it vacation break. They're pushing strollers, carrying all kinds of gear, just trying to get to the beach. our police department regularly goes out into the community to educate pedestrians. We remind them that they have to wait for cars to stop and lights to change. They have to let drivers know their intentions by making eye contact or giving a wave. And at night, wear light collars and carry a flashlight so they can be seen. The drivers need to slow down and look out for pedestrians and pedestrian crossings, especially in resort towns like this one. When pedestrians and drivers work together, everyone has a great summer. Walk safe, everyone, and see you at the beach.
Hey, that turned out.
Awesome.
That's it. So I got to double check with OHS, but I think we can start using that locally, do whatever we need for it. I'll get there okay before we start doing that. We'll put it out on our social medias as like a little local. I think that the title for it was local, it was in the very front clip. It was local safety or local approach. I think they actually left here and went to Dewey Beach, and they were doing a segment at Grotto's Pizza for over-serving or DUI offenses. So they picked Bethany Beach for all the proactive pedestrian and cyclist awareness we do. So
Yeah, I'd rather them
pretty-
not say you people drink too much and drive. And
Yeah, we don't like that. We don't like that. That's it. That's the end of my presentation.
That's great, Chief. Thank you so much.
If I could just comment, I'm very impressed with those flyers. You guys, your team did a great job. And also, I'm talking about giving people thanks. Julie, your team, you did a great job putting that video proposal together. That was very thorough, very well constructed. So thank you to both of you.
Hey, and Chief, when you can release it, can I get a copy of that clip too?
Yeah, it's on the internet. You could go on their website, take it, save it, do what you need with it. I don't know if we can disseminate it on the town side yet without their approval, but it's on the website. It's Arrive Alive. It's right there, arrivealivedelaware.com. Go to the tab. It's pedestrian safety or walk smart, and then it's on that page. A lot of videos, a lot of valuable tools on there. It's on that page.
Well, Bob needs to share it with his family. He's famous now.
Yes,
you know.
absolutely.
We got everybody covered,
Bob
your
and the
wife, and, you know, Chief, the other thing we can do too with the, I know you're talking about the sandwich boards, but if we did have those in a brochure type thing, rather than have, we could hand them out. You know, we're going to
On
be
the
talking
trolleys.
about our trolley ride-alongs.
Right.
Those would be a great thing to hand out, you know, to reinforce, and then people, you know, might see it there, and then we're actually giving them the smaller version, so.
Yep.
And your idea of engaging your team, your imagination team, fantastic.
Yeah.
That is just so cool. And if you ever have a chance, I meant to send you a note before, but if they ever have a chance at one of our meetings, we'd love to have them, one or two, come and present too, and get their ideas, and also get some recognition for what they're doing. I mean,
Yep.
your whole team, but that's just a great way of engaging your folks, and fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we introduced this in maybe January or December. If we go back and show the videos, some of them were out there at 1 o'clock in the morning in January on traffic stops. I was like, God, you don't have to do this stuff immediately at 1 in the morning, and the pitch black guys, but they took it and ran with it. I'm very proud of them for doing that.
You know, the other thing that came up, remember way back when we were talking about body cams, right? I mean, this was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And they tend to have this negative, defensive,
Yes.
you know, police abuse and all the stuff, right? And we talked about, well, there's so much positive can come out of that. You know, great police work being done, and we have a record of it that we can actually utilize and share, right? And those examples you're sharing are fantastic. So, can you share your deck with Teresa and I? Because I'd like to put one or two of those charts in our review with the town council tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just as sort of an update,
Yeah.
because that's fantastic. That's just great policing. And, you know, the other thing he highlighted, this wasn't about writing somebody up and going through court and the whole thing. This is about making a difference right there with somebody in terms of changing their perspective, right? They were lucky, right? And, but somebody took the time to help them, and so that's awesome. Thank you.
We also have, again, I wasn't here last month, we now have 4 drone pilots in the police department. Myself and the deputy chief are 2 of them. It'll provide a lot of unique footage specific to this committee with overhead aerial sites of traffic, pedestrian activity, especially for July 4th. I'm out in this intersection for for 3.5 hours on July 4th. It's pretty chaotic, but very organized. We can provide some really good footage and video from that as well.
Yeah, you know, the other thing we took away, you know, this reminded me of the sergeant we had from Jupiter, right? You know, with their efforts down there, Dan, you hooked us up with, and one of the things he shared, and this is what Sergeant Sharp said at the workshop we had here, right, is that you raise these things up and you engage people, and that sometimes, and I think he said in the vast majority, the parents, if these are, don't support it. In fact, they push back, which is exactly what the sergeant from Jupiter said. And that just, boy, something get under your skin a little bit, right? I mean, so I think anything we can do to encourage that and talk about positive examples of that, you know, as a parent, that support, it's like a teacher. You want to support those teachers and not try to weasel your way out of it, right? And, but.
Well, hopefully video and pictures showing
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
events
Yeah, yeah,
can
yeah.
help your
That's
cause,
exactly, yeah, yeah,
right?
Yep. So, great, thank you. Chief, as always. Julie, want to just an update? I know we're going to get into the video in a little bit, but anything just from a town event perspective? Is there anything going on in town these days?
Yeah, I was going to warn everybody, we got a lot happening coming up with lots of activity. So starting, tonight's Thursday, right? We have a band, but then starting Sunday, we are having an event every single night. And because our parade is on Friday, it's double duty. We'll be real friendly this weekend. So that's Friday, and then Saturday is actually another band and the fireworks show. So everybody's going to be pulling some overtime around staff here to make all that happen. But we're excited. We're ready to go. There's a lot of buzz for the activity. And to answer your question, I spoke with Caitlin with Highway Safety. They're planning to launch that commercial on the 30th.
Oh.
So that's right in the
Did
heart
some
of
investigation.
Gee, where'd you get that background? Yeah, so that starts Tuesday, so then we can really share away. And then I'll reserve the other comments for the wave discussion.
Julie, can I ask a question? Just I should know this, but refresh my memory. I got an email the other day from one of the folks from South Bethany. Their question was about how do we engage like realtors and with some of our safety information. Can you, I know we used to, right? But it was a paper version. How do we do that now digitally? That was his question.
Yeah.
And I always forget where we were.
We haven't actively pursued that. I mean, I do have a list of the agencies that I work with, but we went with our app, the Bethany Life app, so people can refer to what we're doing.
Okay.
But I think we need to flesh out that more, and that's coming with the new website also. We need to have a featured tab just for Wave, I believe, whether it's part of the police site or the sub-site. I'm not sure how that would work.
Okay.
So.
Well, let's put that on our to-do list to think about. 'Cause I just remember years ago we used to like give the realtor something to be, and like it was literally a paper copy.
Right, because the realtors used to give out folders, and
Yeah,
now they
and
give out like websites and apps, and we
yeah.
need to get our stuff in there.
Yeah.
Or have them link to ours,
Yeah.
And that could be easily done with a QR code.
Yeah,
or something.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's move into the, can you pass that back down, Chief? Our Oscar nominee performer. So we want to go into the next phase of planning, but I just want to highlight something. This chart we've shown before, and I know as I've had conversations with people, the question comes up, what's going on in Bethany, right? Visitors and guests. And so it's there's 1,000 ways you can answer, but from our safety perspective, I like to sort of highlight all the things going on. So this is just a shout out to the town, our town council, for supporting. This is just the major infrastructure projects we did this year, right? We completed the 4-way pedestrian walkout here, almost complete, I guess I should say. We improved the intersection at Garfield Parkway by the diner. We put the 2 crosswalks in, and we also improved the intersection down here at Kent and Garfield. You know, significant projects. I mean, when you start putting all that together, and that adds on to projects in the previous years, Collins Street, lowering the speed limits, the rapid flashing beacons. So that all reflects us listening to the community, also taking an active role and supporting things, and the town council supporting our efforts and the town staff. So I'm just really extremely proud of that, and I hope you all are too. And something, again, this is just this year, right? That's a lot of good stuff.
There you go.
So let's go ahead and get into the upcoming events. Art, can you just, I didn't have a copy of your chart, but we do have our,
Art,
we
we
got in
did
front of
it.
us, yep, thank you. As always, thank you, sir.
Sure, I
Yeah,
think,
anything you want to,
yeah, I mean, I think we're off to a great start. I've tried to, you know, put down everything that's gone on so far. If I've missed something, please let me know. If I've put something down incorrectly, please advise me and I'll be happy to adjust it. But I think, again, the J1 efforts, I think were, you know, very valid and really provided some nice help for the community. So I think that's all good. The next thing up on the docket is support at the July 4th parade. And again, I think that's been successful in the past. If we can get some lights, some stickers, some armbands with reflective material, I think that would be very helpful. Is that doable? I guess.
It's whatever we have after the picnic. I don't know what we have remaining in
You
inventory.
want me to go through it real quick?
Yeah,
First of all, whatever's left is in the closet over here.
okay.
Shirt-wise, we're running low on inventory, and that was something that you all wanted to talk about today. The wristbands, we have 5 full packages of them.
Okay.
So we have plenty for the rest of the season.
Okay.
We have plenty of the other pamphlets, stickers, and whatnot, and they're all in there. Shirt-wise, we're running low, but I think we were going to talk about today, you know, what do we want to do with the inventory?
Okay, thanks, Bob. So while we're on the last one, the shirts, I guess, you know, I propose, again, think about what the town has invested, not that it's that big a money thing, but we've invested, all those projects we funded, the town funded ourselves, right? We worked with DelDOT, right? But it was us saying, as a town, that these are important enough that we want to move forward with.
Right.
And so I guess my proposal at this point, let's just go ahead and, rather than worry about reordering shirts, let's just get rid of the inventory we have left. I mean, not get rid of, hand it out, share it. And then once we get into planning for next year, we can decide.
Right.
Teresa has a really nice, another additive thought too, so let me.
So a friend of mine was in town this weekend, and she lives in Northern Virginia, and they were handing these lights out at a farmer's market. And it lights up like this, and then you can do it solid. And she has a dog, and we walked through Bethany West. It's dark back there, and she just hooked this on the loop of her shorts. So when she was walking around, you could see her. And it's labeled, it's branded, and I would, maybe not this, but maybe something like this. That you can also, the J1s can hook on their backpacks.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, or even not just on the back of their shirts, and they could be seen.
What's been a big thing that the students liked were those wristbands, the
Armbands.
reflective wristbands.
Those are easy.
Armbands.
And I
Yeah.
think the chief had those clip-on magnets with
Yep.
the blinking lights.
Same
Those
thing.
went fast.
Yeah, I like those too.
And
That she
what
put on her
also
dog
went
leash.
fast were the first aid kits.
Yeah.
They liked the BB first aid kit.
Yeah, BB and then the lady from DART
Yeah,
had
and
some
we
first
have
aid
a
kits.
We have a whole
Yeah.
backpack full of them.
Good, we should hand those out too.
So those have been the 3 things that
Okay.
really were going fast. The clip-on lights, the wristbands, and first
Right.
aid kits.
So if you're here for the summer, you need Band-Aids and all that, but you're not gonna buy $50 worth of first aid supplies. And that's really all you need for the couple of months that they're here. But any of those would work, but maybe we just try something other than the t-shirts.
Yeah, and I think we're getting a trend of
Yes.
other things.
Yeah.
That's good.
That folks like.
So Teresa, could you would you mind taking, just
Yeah.
researching that a
Sure.
little bit? And if maybe we even put something like something unique to us on that?
Oh, no, it would
in the
be
town?
like,
Yeah.
Logo.
Right, I mean, this is the Northern Virginia logo. This is
Yeah.
their website, this is,
Yeah. and
Can
that
it be
part of our
two-sided? Can you
planning
do-
for-
of course, I
Maybe
would
wave,
imagine you
wave,
can.
and then the town seal. maybe
would
on
think
the
so.
other side.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll defer the shirts. We'll hand out the other materials.
Right.
Chief, if you have the smaller versions of those posters your team put together, we can hand.
Yeah, so I haven't gone that route yet. Terry Tiemann and Eddie Hammond, in charge of the trolley, they kind of suggested that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to do that. I said as long as the trolleys have trash cans on them, so people look at them, just don't throw them everywhere. But making smaller copies, we could just make right here at the UPS store and get them out in the trolleys.
And even my thought with that is not this, I wasn't so much thinking about just having them there, but actually, when we go on to ride the trolleys, right, over the next couple months,
Yeah.
that's something we bring as a handout.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not, so if somebody doesn't want them, they don't have to take them.
Yep.
We're not just
Right.
creating paper that
Yep.
has to be disposed of. But the point is to connect it
Right.
to these events, these incidents that you've talked about, right? We can connect the dot there in terms of these are the things that where people have gotten hurt, right? And some of those you mentioned could have gotten, they could have been catastrophic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As you were going through the near miss, well, they were actually incidents, but they could have been a lot worse. And that's the point, and so.
So how about this, if this makes sense? I'll print out 2 of the 3, because one is the DUI.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
you guys want to have a discussion with people in a trolley about, if you don't know the law, I don't want to put you guys.
Right.
Set you up for failure.
Right.
We'll do the bike smart and then the travel smart.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We won't print out the DUI one.
No.
Right.
That's-
I mean, there are in the trolley already.
Right.
They're not driving.
Yeah.
Right.
Two-sided.
Yeah.
Right, and the nice thing about those things is something we can, it's a packet we can easily grab. It's
Yeah.
not like bags and boxes, it's like,
Right.
that we can just literally take on the bus with us, or the trolley, utilize, and then put it back for the next group, you know what I mean, kind of thing, so.
But those trolley rides, just from last year and what we did, it's just that moment in time. When you and I did it, we had a few passengers. When Diane and I did it, the bus was loaded.
Yeah,
But it's just that
they
moment.
still
in
talk
time.
about Diane and you guys.
The trolley, the bus.
So,
But Chief,
good.
just a thought, kind of like those real estate handout
Yeah.
bins.
Yes.
Maybe put that in the bus, like in the front or something, like, hey, take one.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's getting that message across.
Right.
We're hitting the J1 students.
Yeah.
Because we have these events where we're seeing, but we're not seeing a lot of people around town. They're just getting the message across to all these tourists that are changing up every week.
I also recommend then putting that in the info kiosk under Mangoes.
Yeah.
A lot of
Oh,
people go
yes.
there for
Yeah,
information,
they
and
do.
you could just have, a
Yeah,
holder
that's
like
true.
that. They could just
Yeah.
choose. And the people that work there are very good
Yeah.
with talking to people and
Yeah.
promoting stuff.
Even if you guys can mention it to the HOA communities, like we got 584 homes in Bethany West, and I have to go through a gatekeeper.
Yeah, so that, again, I said this to Art, Art's been a real leader in terms of taking some of the things we come up with in our team and take it out through his HOA, right? And I told him the other day, because Art, I actually sent something around, sort of, is this okay if I send this? And I was,
Yeah.
Art, you take the ball and run with it, brother, because it's all good stuff. And the more of those kind of folks we connect with, Bob's on the board for Bethany West, and I'm sure all,
So at one point, a few years ago, we had a list of HOAs, and it's kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of our initiatives for a while, to try and get out to some of these HOAs.
I
And we
think
got to
Raylene
some.
updated that recently, right?
Like, no, it was Tim,
Who did? Tim.
right? That's his name?
Someone did.
Janie's husband?
Yeah, didn't someone ask us to update the list of HOA lead people?
Yeah, Melanie's working on it.
Melanie,
okay.
Melanie, yeah, I'm sorry. So that can be an entree, we can actually proactively try to say.
Proactively, just say,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, guys, we
Yeah.
would like you all to
Let's-
post this stuff.
Sure. And then the other thing we were doing for a while is asking to be invited to the meetings so we could speak
Yeah.
at their meetings.
Yeah,
Like, I spoke at a Lake Bethany meeting, you guys are already on the committee, so you have Bethany West covered, like, that, we tried.
Well,
And I know you have your community covered, Art, so we don't have to.
Well, I mean, again, I'm more than happy to share the write-ups that I put together. I mean, I appreciate Chief Foley looking over the
Yeah.
text regarding the checkpoints. That was helpful. That's going to be included in our June message that's going out today. I sent it to the BBLA, the Bethany Beach Landowners
Yeah.
Association. They included it in their
Oh, good.
June message that went out. So again, I think, again, we're all working collaboratively. So if we can kind of just share the text so we all stay on message, that might be helpful.
Yeah, and let's not forget the town newsletter, too.
Yeah.
So when is that expected to come out again?
I'd be
do you
happy
know?
to send it forward if you want it. I've got a picture and a write-up regarding the 2 checkpoints. One of the checkpoints is at the end of July, and the other's at the beginning of August. But I've got a nice little, very brief summary that you might help you, and I'll send it to you this afternoon. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Could I jump back for a second just in terms of the 4th of July effort, if I may? Again, we weren't normally going to give out T-shirts, but we have been successful in distributing the stickers, the bike lights. Now that we have the reflective pieces, I think that would be worth including, and then brochures. So am I correct to assume that the town hall will be closed on Friday, the 3rd? Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out logistically how to get all this stuff, so I'm ready to go.
It's all
Well,
No, but how to get it
overall
to the
there. So in
table.
other words, can I just pick up a box of stuff on Thursday? Will we have sufficient
I'll
stickers?
be camping out here
No,
for all Friday, so I
I'm
can.
trying not to burden you, that's
Well, I'll be running around, so I can even, and I know the door will be open, there'll be enough access that I can help you get that over to the table.
Okay, well, I'll just come by over on Thursday and sometime and just pick up a box, and then I can just bring it over, and I won't be a disruption to
Okay.
you. But
Or if
again, we do have.
it's pretty much in that
It's
one
pretty-
box, right?
I'll show you, Art, after the meeting. It's
'Cause we
pretty
could-
much
we could bring it
organized
over
in a
Friday.
box.
Okay.
We'll-
The re-
we'll be
the real
staging
question
there.
is the lights.
Yeah, that's,
Chief Foley, can we get some lights for the little table
The
where we?
clip-on lights.
Yeah, how many do we need?
I think last year we had 100 sets, is that right?
All right.
Could we get a-
I have them through that grant. Most of them are for the bike safety checkpoints, then the officers are giving out on the side of the road. They're integrated in patrol, but I'll try to get you as much as I can.
Yeah, this
Should I
is,
just come
this
by-
is for the kids' bike station.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, we don't.
next to the bike table for
Yeah.
the 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, the town bike table.
Over the past couple events, we went through about 50 of those clip-on lights.
Okay, the clip-on lights are nice.
Oh, they loved them.
Yeah.
They loved it.
'Cause you
Anything
could
with
use
the
them any-
blinking light.
Yeah, the bike lights are only on a bike, but the clip-ons you can use if you're walking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, I think the white in the front and the red in the
Yeah.
back, those go over really well, and
Yeah.
the kids really like those. Again, we're not just giving these out willy-nilly.
Right.
But when people bring their bikes to the staging area for the parade,
Yeah.
we are installing them, which gets to another point, because again, I know there's a limitation in terms of how many lights we have. So just from a perspective standpoint, should the policy be, when we're giving out the lights, that we only allow them to be installed on the bikes? We're not going to hand them out for people to take home. Just so, it saves an issue about if we just give them to people and they say, oh yeah, well, I'm going to use them, they might wind up in the trash or in a drawer somewhere. Whereas at least if we install them on the bikes,
So-
we'll have some level of, success.
In my opinion, this is a slippery slope. We don't, as police officers at checkpoints, we ask people to get off the bike before we install them, because once you start doing that, and I've seen people do it where you're installing a bike light with a child sitting on it, and it puts a wrong image to somebody. I've been asked about that before. That's not something the police department does.
Okay.
We ask them to physically remove themselves from the bike, and then we strap the bike lights on it. So July 4th is tough. I'll try to get as many bike lights as I can. A lot of them are for certain pre-planned events. I'll try to get you 50 light sets.
That's fine.
No,
but-
whatever you can do is great. What I was just
Yeah.
wondering is, again, just to basically put our people in a nice position.
Yeah.
Should our policy be that we are only going to install them on the bike? We're not going to give you like a handful of
Correct.
like 4
Yeah,
to go
but just
home.
make sure that they're removed from the bicycle
Right.
before you, so just, can you step off the bike? You put it on the handlebars. I would love to have a seasonal or a police officer with you guys, but we're doing
Yeah.
100
No, I
million
get it.
different
Yeah.
things at a time.
But
just ask them to remove themselves from the bike,
Yeah.
and then you put it on, the seat post or the handlebars, somewhere around that. If you get in the habit of handing them out, they'll just,
Yeah.
they'll disappear really, really
Right,
fast.
that's what I'm afraid
right,
of, and we want to protect our resources.
Right.
So in turn, would you mind if I came by sometime on Thursday and just picked up the lights? So I've got them on
I'll leave
Friday
them
morning?
I wrote a memo here, I'll leave them up at dispatch for you to
Perfect.
pick up. Yeah.
Thank you, and so I'll pick up, and I guess you're coming, Mickey and Diane, and I guess Dan's coming, so we'll have nice coverage. So again, with that parade staging area, last year I showed up at 9 and they said actually they started earlier. So is it generally, should we be there at 8? Do you have any idea?
You can. We'll be going over to, Brett will unlock the gates there too, and we'll start setting up the staging area. So if you want to be there earlier, but people will come, they're told, I think not till 9, but if they
They'll
see
show
us.
up early.
Yeah, they'll show up early.
Okay, I'll just
And-
be there at 8.
Okay.
Dan, don't worry about coming till 9 or so. There
Where
shouldn't be
we're
many
supposed
people
to
there.
meet, Art? Where we're supposed to meet?
Right
in the
over here
church.
at the parade staging area
Is
by
the parade.
He doesn't know where that is.
Parking lot, so across the street, you'll see
The church parking lot.
grounds. And just one more point about install light on.
That's a good point, yeah. So we want to just put it on people, is this your bike?
Yes.
And in turn, then we'll put the lights on. But again, we want to install them and we want them to be off.
Yeah.
So that makes it easier, just as long as we're consistent.
Yeah.
And relative to the time on Saturday, or for the, I mean, guys, you guys, family, friends, don't worry about being there. We're gonna be there, we're gonna be represented. If we get there at 9, that's fine.
Right.
I mean, you know what, I mean, that seemed like it was I don't want you to feel like you gotta get there at 8 o'clock and, yeah, that's 4 hours of hanging out in the.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
It's gonna be hot.
I mean,
That's
just
the
be
other thing.
respectful of your own time and
Yeah.
that's all.
And the town won't be starting their bike handouts anyway, too. They do bike kits.
And
So,
when do they get there?
Yeah,
like 9 o'clock, 8:39, so.
cool.
That's great.
So then it sounds like 8:30 at the earliest start.
That's
at the
fine.
earliest.
Well, I'll just have the stuff and I'll go over when
Yeah.
I think it's appropriate, if that's all right. And then in turn with the trolley rides, because that's kind of the next wave beyond,
Yeah.
before we get to the checkpoints. So again, in general, again, we're not going to be doing lights at the trolley rides, but we will be doing the stickers and the, I guess,
And hopefully some
T-shirts, what we have
flyers.
left. We'll have flyers, we'll have
Once you go
discussions.
through the 4th of July, you won't have any more T-shirts.
No. Well, anyway, but anyway, the supplies will be basically underneath the stairwell.
No, they're in the closet.
Or in the
over there.
closet?
I'll show you where
Okay.
they are. Everything is conveniently put in place because there's not that much.
Okay.
The T-shirts took up a lot of room.
Yeah.
Since we're low on T-shirts, all the other supplies are in that closet, and I'll show you where they are.
Great. Okay, what I'm just trying to do is set this up so that when, the rides start, because I don't know what people's preferences are, but just so that they can get the materials they need. So if we just can go to the closet like the day of,
Yeah.
because that should be
Yeah,
sufficient.
just give me a heads up so I can let Brian know who's going to be in and out of that closet.
Yeah.
And the town knows.
So why don't we do this, just to keep, so we can keep moving? Art's raised a good point. Let's share with Art the potential, let's just start with July, okay? The dates that you all think you might be available to help out, to do an hour trolley tour.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, and if you can pair up with somebody in advance,
Yeah.
like Dan and I say, hey, we'll do it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And we'll, and just let Art know, that way we'll sort of have a running list of what we have. And again, folks, this is, we're under I don't want to put you under the burden of having to do more. You've got family, you got vacation. Just pick out, if you have a few hours in the afternoon, right, or a couple days, and if you can pair up with somebody, that'd be great. And we'll go with it, right?
Perfect.
And I just ask you, when you do those, just record your key takeaways, right? Not the details, but just what did you learn? What did people tell you? And then we can share that back when we come together, probably in August, by the time we get back together, okay?
Yeah.
And we'll have some email in the middle of that. So is that okay, Art, with
Oh, no,
if we do that?
It's fine.
No, you're keeping our schedule, that's why I want to,
I'm just trying to keep us all on the same page.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
Yep.
we're all moving forward.
yeah.
And I think
Awesome.
that sounds great. And again, like I said, I think probably July, that's the same day as the checkpoint, our meeting was scheduled. So unless somebody objects, maybe we can just pass on the July meeting.
Yep, you're skipping
that's
ahead.
Yep. We're gonna get there. Now, I think,
Although, I like your efficiency.
yeah.
I'm trying.
Actually, since we're there, we okay to cancel the July meeting?
Yes, I
Since
think.
it's, so moved.
I second.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, let's move into the part of what we want to do. So these are, again, this is just the, actually, I want to highlight, this is just the activities we had in the beginning. We've covered a lot of that between Chief Foley and Julie. A lot of really good stuff, a lot of good interactions, and there's probably a couple other things up there we didn't capture, and the things we have in the forefront. This is just the another picture of, this is Carl and Diane at the J1 workshop. And special thanks to Officer Tressler for, he was sort of the lead champion for pulling that together, so please share our thanks to him. He did a great job first time out of the chute. This was another one. This was actually the gentleman from ABC, Tony V, who actually gave a presentation to the students, or to the J1, before they actually went out and then actually applied that knowledge in the back, in terms of the parking lot. But it was very good. It was a half hour, but it was very engaging, very focused. So he did a great job with that. Then we had the St. Martha's, as you talked about, and you know, the key here, that if you look at the picture on the left, what we ended up doing, right, and not just us, but the other folks there, we would just sort of break up, and rather than have like a long line, one or two of us would walk over and talk with one of the tables. And it was very, while folks were having dinner, it was very relaxed, very at ease. Then stopped by and picked up some materials. We emphasized some key points. But again, St. Martha's just fantastic for putting that together. That's just a great opportunity. So, okay, let's move into the digital project for, every time I get to this, I call it something a little bit different, Julie. So if this looks different you saw before, it is because, so Julie, you take the lead with this for us. Thank you.
All right, so I sent out everybody the video proposal. And then then there was the project that Chief Foley took on with the pedestrian safety. So when I spoke with Office of Highway Safety, thank you, Caitlin, she said that they pretty well were covering the pedestrian side of it, because I told her I didn't want to overlap so much. So she said she would be grateful if we focused on bike safety. They would even share what we come up with.
Great.
So that was the plan next. So based on that conversation, I reached out to the videographer and told him we would like to go with option 4, which is the community engagement series, the interview style.
Okay.
So he said what he would like to do is, if we can narrow down questions that we would like them to ask, we could come up with the people that we want them to ask, or just let it be organic and just have them find people in general without it being staged to ask them these questions and get the answers. And then in the meantime, I said I would share that with you all, and then he was going to work on a general clean video with all the rules that support each question. So I gave him the flyer on the Bike Smart, so that would be another consistent way of getting that message out. So he was putting together one, because the proposal was for 3 videos. So he's going to do one video just static of what the rules are,
Okay.
and then a couple asking the questions. So I'm going to pass out these questions, and everybody can take a look. And these I got from the internet, so I just copied and pasted them here, but
We don't
they're a
have
little
to
blurry.
recreate the wheel.
Yeah, and I think it covers,
Oh, that's okay.
it makes a lot of sense. It's two pages, so, yeah. And some are common sense, but we could fine tune.
Well, what direction should you ride your bicycle? Like that. So I think visibility is one,
Yeah, that's a big recurring theme.
and there are 3 questions on direction, so, and given what we've seen recently, direction might be a good one.
And also, if I might add, the question, bless you, about riding on sidewalks. I got an email that said that the messaging is confusing because, well, dangerous. The signage says no bikes on sidewalks, and then he witnessed a bike in the bike lane getting hit by a car. So then decided to continue to ride on the sidewalk. So, I mean, that's not something that we can really control, but back to the signage, how it's something maybe we can address somehow, if we want to, in this.
I think that's sticky. I wouldn't, because of what Bob saw last summer, and sometimes the little kids are better off on a sidewalk than on 26, and I understand, but I think that's sticky.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up, so
Yeah.
we could discuss
I
it.
don't know, what do you guys think?
I think we're sending conflicting information.
Okay.
You got street signs that say bicycles on the road.
Sure.
Then you got the sign that's faded away on the sidewalk. Then we're saying in these meetings, hey, you know what, it probably would be a good idea for some people to be on the sidewalk. Yeah. But you're getting the electric bikes. I had to dodge one yesterday coming down here. You got the kid on the electric bike. Every kid has something electric anyway.
So, and Chief, correct me with this since we're talking about this. I don't think we want to go down the path of diverging from what's really considered best practices for the bikes to be in a bike, if there's a bike lane available, to be in the bike lane, right?
Yes.
Now, we're talking, so let's take aside the example of a kid on a tricycle. We're not talking about them being in the bike lane, right? Or even a really small kid on training wheels, that's different, right? But if you have a bike and you're going down 26, right, you generally ought to be in the bike lane, because why is that, right? It's not just the bicycle safety, it's the pedestrian safety. They're walking up and down 26, right? So the reason we have the law and the guidance the way it is to keep people, trying to keep some separation. You know, there's a bike lane, there's a car lane, and there's a sidewalk. And those are three different pieces. So I don't think I don't think we want to go down the path of trying to change that.
No, but we have how many questions? 3 or 4?
Well, enough to fill the time slot.
Okay.
Roughly,
Yeah.
But we should keep it to 3 or 4 topics, right?
30 to 90 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, maybe we start with what are the topics that we want to cover,
Yes.
Right,
right?
right.
What do you think, Bob?
I think it's problematic in a sense, from what I witnessed last year. And those folks were doing everything right. And you got St. Anne's letting out at that moment in time, where they're just getting out of that park. And that was a 9-year-old, a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid. If he will have fallen to the left instead of the right. But they were following the rules.
Right. So
And those bike paths they go from about this wide to this wide,
right.
to this wide, to an intersection where cars are allowed to make a right-hand turn. When it comes to little kids, and the chief said this many times, he's not going to tell a father with 3 little kids, you shouldn't be on the sidewalk.
So I don't know that we can solve all the problems.
Yeah, you can.
I think to Mickey's point, I think we stick with rules of the road. You know,
That's what we're educating on.
Right.
Did you know?
Right.
This is what the rule is.
Right. Right. You know, the other thing, I remember talking about this distinctly the other night at the St. Martha's group, and it was the group of folks from Lithuania, and we were talking about it, and they come down 26. And I strongly encourage them to get the heck off of 26, go through Turtle Walk, go through Bethany West, right?
Well, because you can come up Collins.
You can.
And then take that little boardwalk into Turtle Walk.
And
That's what I do.
And that's a good idea. But Collins, during the summer, becomes an alt 26. 26.
I
But
I
I'd much
understand.
rather be on,
But you
Bob-
have a 10-foot bike lane.
but Bob, I'd much rather
On
have
Collins.
people on Collins
Yeah.
in that wider bike lane
Yeah.
and that, than on 26.
No, and my point is, yes.
Yes.
But then you got another complication. You got the lawn mowing companies all parked there. For
Sometimes.
that point in time.
Right, there's always gonna be complications, but there's
You're picking your battles.
Yeah, but,
But we need to be smart about it. You know, if we did that great walkway that took 20 years to make, we probably should put no parking signs along there.
There's
So-
one. I know there are a couple.
There's one in front of your place, but the rest of it, you got the lawn mowing guys parked there, you got the trolley coming, you got the UPS trucks, the Federal Express trucks, the FedEx trucks, you're zigging and zagging.
Right,
but
but they
Bob,
have to park somewhere.
but they're gonna be,
Yeah.
okay, so let's just step back a little bit, because I think
Yeah, we're losing it.
we wanna, one of the things we've heard quite a bit about is riding or walking on the correct side. And what I put back up here is these were the lists we came up with months ago,
Yep.
right? Where our takeaways, when we all decided what were the things we wanted to focus on, right? Chief, you highlighted using the RRFB correctly
Right.
already, right? Right. The idea of needing to be seen, right? I think it's important, right? The whole visibility piece, the riding or walking on the correct side of the road.
Helmets.
Well, then, yeah, we can add to, the safety gear we want folks to have.
Mickey, is there a way to combine in one category several messages like, look, be smart when you're out there, make sure you got a helmet on, don't wear headphones so you can't hear
Sure.
people trying to get out of your way, so as Julie looks for 3 or 4 different areas,
Right.
one of them can be clumped together like that, because we could be here till Sunday talking.
Yeah.
about this.
Right.
True.
Right. So let me just highlight just one other thing. What do you do, right? This whole idea of biking on the right side of the road, being on the right side of the road, right? I came up the other day, I was coming down, I was going across the bridge in Ocean View, right? I'm going up over the bridge, and coming at me is a biker with like a baby carriage, that she's, right? So she's got that lane blocked coming at me. Right? I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, on a frickin' bridge, excuse my language. And now, luckily there wasn't enough traffic, and I just got out of the way.
Yeah.
I got into the roadway, she was able to come up. But that's the reason we have people on the right side of the road, right? Can you imagine you going up and down Route 1? You don't want to be in, right?
No, you're absolutely.
So that's the reason we have those rules there, right? And they do make sense, and we can talk to people about those. So.
We can't legislate every situation.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about legislating, I'm just talking about what do we want to emphasize, you
No.
know, Bob? The legislation and the guidance is pretty clear already. We just don't want to confuse that.
But there are going to be exceptions to everything.
Sure.
Yeah. So, so Julie, does that,
I don't think we helped her at all.
okay,
I think what you can do, everybody can take this home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Review it when you have more time, and just give me the
Yeah.
top
Do
maybe
you want 3 or
5.
4 that we like? I mean, I went
Yeah.
through this and there was like 4 that jumped out at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are
But
some that
I'll
are.
send this to you rather than have us debate the whole
That's
thing.
fine, and then if there's anything that you suggest also, we could throw that in, but just to at least get us started.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Julie, can I suggest one thing?
And reply to the whole group.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I suggest, I know you're talking about the interview process. For this first round, can I suggest we interview one of us?
Okay,
To get the right answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we can, every one of us can talk to any of these topics very easily, very
Right.
directly. I don't need a script, but we do want to be able to emphasize the right thing.
well, the way he could do that is interview somebody off the street and have their answer be incorrect, and then he interview you
Okay.
as this
Okay,
is what
good,
should be done.
Good, okay.
Just to,
Good.
because that's the whole point, is we're trying to
Yes.
assess the community.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
are they not following these rules? Maybe they don't know them.
Right.
Sure.
So let's educate them on
Good.
what they
No,
are.
exactly. You could have the interview, they could get the response, and then you could respond to what they're saying, and in turn, then you tie everything together.
Right.
I think that would be wonderful.
Good, okay.
And then the last one will be there you have it. These are the rules, please follow them.
Okay.
You know,
Just
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm
One-
sorry, I
one
misinterpreted
question.
when you said
That's okay.
interview.
No, no,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Thank you.
one question, Julie. So in some cases, the same question is asked a couple of different ways. So should we, if we like that, if we think that question is important, should we pick the best way to ask it too? I mean, like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. These are great though, Julie. Thank you. This is a good place to start.
Okay, good.
And again, this is another example of the investment the town is making to, you know, to do this. So I'd rather actually spend more money on this than
Yeah.
worry about T-shirts at this point.
Well, and we're really fortunate that the Office of Highway Safety is covering
Yeah.
the pedestrian portion, so we don't have to do that. And
Right.
if they share our videos and we share theirs and everyone's working together, I think that's the best way to do this.
Yeah.
And it's not, well, I know your video was more targeted to Bethany, but
Right.
if Highway Safety's going to share it too.
Right.
It's just the general Delaware laws on biking, so,
Yeah.
and the more people see it, the better. And it just,
So,
the reach is better.
If you don't mind.
Please.
Delaware has that strange law about stop signs, right?
Yeah.
Like bicyclists don't have to stop at stop signs. Is that something that we want to, I think we encourage people to stop at stop signs.
Yeah,
You
I
have
would,
to be
it's,
able to stop.
Oh, okay.
In other words, if there's somebody there, you've got a car approaching or, you know, a pedestrian, you have to be able to stop. Pedestrian still has right of way,
Sure.
but you need to be able to.
So you almost have to treat it like a yield.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
yeah. So I just wanted to highlight
That's what
one
the
thing.
rule is.
Yeah.
That's a weird rule, by the way.
There's an exception here.
It's such a strange
Yeah, right
exception.
there.
yeah.
Yeah, but as a biker, okay, if you put it in that context, right, you're coming up on a stop sign, right? And I have clear visibility, there's no one there, right? Now, if you're in a car, you stop,
Yeah,
right? This isn't pedestrians versus bicycles, this is pedestrians, this is bicycles and cars. At a stop sign, you have to stop.
right.
If you're on a back road and there's a stop sign and I'm a bicyclist coming up, if I have clear visibility, there's no issue. I can keep going. Isn't that the
Yeah.
right interpretation? Yeah.
Yet mentioning anything that is not concrete, black and white with the general public leads to an argument and
Right.
that I found. So addressing anything that has discussion where it's up for interpretation, I would just
Right.
bypass.
Well, we were literally coming out, I had the kids in the car yesterday, and a bicyclist came blowing through Atlantic Avenue, right? Just assuming everybody was gonna stop for him.
Right.
There's cars everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the wrong thing to do.
It might have been the person that we showed in the
It
slide.
probably
two
was,
seasons.
right? That's the wrong, at that point, he or she should have
Right.
stopped, right? Because, just like a car, right? So that's the fun. So I just wanted to highlight one thing. This is what ABC already has done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is really nice stuff, right? And you can sort of see their actually, I'll send you guys,
If you could, Nikki, if you could send that out.
Tony sent me this link, and you can
I saw it.
actually
That
go
was
into
good.
each one of
Yeah,
these
these were
and
good.
play it. But and what I shared with him, the nice thing about what we're doing and what Chief has done is these are all generic. So this is like, you'll pull one of those up, it's a generic,
Right.
city situation of doors opening and the like. It's all good stuff. But what we're trying to do, our sort of value add on this is making it specific to Bethany. So you're seeing the Bethany crosswalk, the Bethany, right? So it's a nice add. To me, I'm really happy we're going in that way. This is good stuff, but we're sort of taking it to the next step to make people connect with literally what they're going to be dealing with when they rent a house and they're vacationing
Yeah.
here. Here's that intersection, right? Here's how to get across.
It's going to resonate much more with them.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's what, Julie, you and your team are really taking the lead with, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, just a quick question, because I'm not that tech savvy like the rest of you are. Does our website on the town, bicycle and pedestrian, we have something of a footprint on that website, right?
Just under the committees.
Okay. Because I was saying, if we had a footprint, can we put all these various links on there?
Right, that's what my point was, that we need to flesh this out a little bit more for this
Yeah.
theme, this topic, because it's, and the question is whether we do it as its own or as part of the PD. I'm not sure.
But I
Because there is a
thought-
section on biking and even on Bethany Life, and that's going to be a
Right.
sub-site of the new site.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I thought with the new webpage website, we would have a presence, like a safety presence, not just a who's on the committee. Am I wrong about that?
I'll have to double check on that.
Okay.
Because that's part of the, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm
See,
going to look at the site plan.
I know we sort of put this off a little bit because the website's been under development, right?
Correct.
Yeah. But I would like, aspirationally, I'd like to have everything pretty much that we have available on the website. I mean, that's instructional in nature, that somebody can
Right.
look at, right, and say, and be honest, I'm not worried about, what's on there now are notes and the meeting
Yeah.
agendas. People don't really care about it, but if we have a nice video, like
Right.
the chief you have, right, that we can make a link right there, if folks click on that, that just seems like really a value add to that. Dan?
Yeah.
Mick, just a note of, I'm sorry, Diane.
Yeah, Diane and then
I mean,
Dan.
I think going in, you don't want to go into the committee to see this. This needs to be up front on the website somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Safety, yeah.
wherever it is,
Yeah.
but the whole idea of pedestrian bicycle
Yeah.
safety,
But there's some good content we're coming up with here. My only point is, and we want that as easily accessible as it can be, right?
The place I could think of it where it would be when we speak to bike safety or bike rules. And
Okay.
that there is a tab just for that.
Okay.
So,
Well, that would work, because that's where people will look for it,
Yeah.
right?
Can I, just
Please.
a sense of caution here. And we have lots of good ideas, and people are doing great stuff here. And this has kind of come up for me from time to time in our conversations. One of the things that we have to be careful of is that we don't divorce the community from the police department. That somehow or another, we're not going so in such a direction. I mean, we can coordinate, we can do things, and we do with the department, and I think the chief's been really generous about bringing stuff to us to review and get some, so the product is a good one. But the value of this department in so many ways is the relationship it has with the community. So any steps we take, we need to make sure we're not doing anything to separate that or divide that, in my view.
Right.
And I
100%
think,
agree with you,
and I think one of the things we have to be careful about, particularly on the website, is the department probably, I haven't seen this, and I don't want to put the chief on the spot, but my guess is there are a lot of messages that come out from the department on the website. I think there can also be messages that come out from the committee as well in this area. But I think we ought to make sure that we're not just combining them all in one spot so people don't get lost in the messages and stuff. And we don't do anything to harm or injure or interfere in any way with the relationship between our officers and the community they serve. And can I yield to you on that? I don't know if there's...
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. We're the fun police, so we put out information, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. If you do it, you're gonna get arrested and there's consequences. If you guys do it, you're just, well, who are you? You know, like the general public, that's the way they treat us as officers, right? Who are you? What grounds do you have to tell me that I can do it? If the committee does something, you guys have more relevancy in the community than we do because you're part of it. You're part of this community. So when they hear a message saying, hey, you should have a helmet on if you're under 18, how come? I have grandkids and I have kids here and I do the same thing and I'm on a committee. It's a different approach than us being black and white saying, because it's the law. You guys have a better aspect to get the message across than we do because again, we're just, okay, well, I didn't know that. I'm not from around here. Don't do it again, you're gonna get a ticket. That's really what we need. You guys have a better approach.
So Dan, let me go back to the chief for a while. And I agree with Dan 100% what you're saying, right? And Chief, please, if there's anything we're doing that is in any way creating ambiguity for you and your team, let us know because we don't.
Yeah,
that's the last thing we want to do. But I think to your point, the beauty of this is we're sort of coming at this a couple different ways, right? We're coming from the enforcement side, from the law side, not saying that's the only thing you all do. The example you shared before, you know, in the stops. I don't think you wrote a ticket. You talked to, I mean, there were situations you wrote a ticket. But where a lot of those were coaching and counseling, in my parlance would be, right? That's great stuff. And that's really what we're trying to do, right? We can't tell anybody anything. We can, right? But we can encourage, we can counsel, we can say, look, we want you to have a great vacation and want it to be safe. And if we're ever, I mean, I'm just coming back a little bit. If you ever sense we're blurring that line and making your work in any way, let us know, because that's the last thing in the world we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the stuff the police department creates, we want to put it out first. We created it, we want to get the message out there, rather than it to go out to direct communities and HOAs before we send the message. That's what I'm referring to, just, we'll go out there, but you guys can do a different approach, we're similar, we're kind of robotic. We have a humanistic approach, but we also have an enforcement aspect too. Where you guys don't. You have more relevancy, and it's a more unique way to get the message out from a police officer standpoint. Because we have council members in this committee, we have HOA presidents in this committee. It's great.
Just I know we're taking a little extra time here, but to be quite honest with you, as Teresa and I have had a chance to work with other communities, and this isn't to make comments about them in any way, but the fact of how we work together on this is really pretty unique and different, right? That we have a standing committee. Every city doesn't have a standing committee. That we have a police chief on it. That's an active member. I don't know if there's anybody else that has that, right? That's really cool and what makes this impactful, right? Julie's role in this makes it really impactful. You know, we're really trying to get the best of the best, so.
We're not trying, we've got them.
No, I know. No, I'm not, I know we do. I'm just saying that it's something, we get used to this, right? Other towns, you talk to them and they sort of like scratch their head. You mean you have the police chief on a committee? It's on, in fact, he's one of our leaders on it, right? And we also have our events manager, because guess what? It makes a lot of sense, so.
Mickey, since I launched this discussion, I apologize for taking so much time.
No, it's good. It's good to come back to it.
I think part of listening to the words of the chief, I think part of the message here is exactly what Julie is doing here, and I don't want to put you on the spot on that, but I think what we generate in something like this, and the messages that we put together in the video, and putting that kind of thing as the work of the product of the committee, and putting that on the website, if we can create a footprint, I'm sorry, I think that was the term that was used, for the committee there, and put that there, that doesn't conflict or diminish in any way what the police department does on that, and they're complementary. So it's kind of like what we need to do is supplement what they're doing, and we've been doing this, with our own messages that are consistent with what we're doing. And as the chief was suggesting, what we've got is a non-legal, non-threatening kind of relationship where we can do that. And I think that's the message I was trying to get to Julie, so that when you shape this, it's really less about the technicals, but it's just, don't be stupid. Wear a helmet, put a light on, Don't put, headphones on
I can't wait to see the comments of don't be stupid.
I'll share mine with you. I've long wanted to think that we're being too nice here. But seriously, something that, gets their attention, but also makes it easy to understand. And that is a different message than.
Although it is kind of funny, like I think 90% of the people would get that it was funny.
Well,
And
it's the 10%.
Go viral.
Some of the best videos I've seen is, somebody in a captain, whatever, human, Superman uniform coming out and saying, why are you doing this? This is crazy, Just use your head, right?
And keep it. That's why you need a helmet.
Or you lose your head. See? There we go. I'm sorry, Mickey.
But so just one other comment, if I can, and then we'll wrap up. As much as I just said something about the website and having everything there, and I think I've shared with you all, and I'm really going to bias probably a little bit here, but that's okay. the website and the apps, to me, I don't spend very much attention to any of that. I literally don't. I use our website to figure out what meeting should I attend, right? I'm not going into that looking for insight, knowledge, grand wisdom. There's not an app, there's a couple apps I pay attention. I talk to people, right?
Yes.
I talk to people, and that's really the core of everything. As much as we highlight the structural things we've done, which I'm extremely proud of, all that other stuff, the St. Martha's, the workshops, the J1, that is talking to people to make sense of all this so that they make different decisions. That's why, that's the energy you all always bring to the table on this, right? And whether it's a 5-year-old kid or a, 68-year-old guy who says, I don't need to wear a helmet, We have conversations with people, and that's the beauty of what this team's about.
Yeah.
So.
But
They're not mutually exclusive.
They're not.
And you can do all of this.
That's
You can do all of it.
Yeah, that's
You can
it.
do it all.
And what you say is absolutely pure magic.
Right.
That's what makes the biggest difference.
Right.
There are some of us who get nerd-like and want to know, well, what does the town say about this sort of stuff? So, like you, we look for meetings and other things. But I think you're right, and I think the combination of the two is what gives it a lot of punch.
Yeah. So, cool. All right. So, Julie, you're going to help us with the...
Yeah, we need to get Julie,
we're going to...
we have to get her information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And I love the concept of the interview, and then we can overlay it kind of thing. That's awesome. If you all would I would love you all to be the key players of that conversation, what we have, get you all involved with that.
Sure, if it would help, what I could do is I could turn this into a PDF file and send it out to everybody along with this.
Okay.
The latest plan. And then I could send you my thoughts in terms of this afternoon.
That'd be great.
And then other people can jump in. Again, there's no perfect way to do this,
So
but it's a start.
So let's do this. Let's do this so we can be most effective with our time. And Art, you're awesome with this. You take the lead. If you take the lead, and then we'll follow off of that.
Perfect.
So we'll build off of your comments rather than everybody sort of jumping in at once, right? You take the lead, we'll follow up, and then it'll get us, I think, to an end product quicker.
Yeah.
Julie, and Julie's point also, share it broadly so we can all see the conversation. And that should get us to a really good end spot, I think.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
If I could just, again, I don't want to belabor everybody's being here any longer than you have to, but I just wanted to share some experiences from doing the Bike to the Bay this year.
Yeah.
Again, as I mentioned in the note the other day, communication I think is absolutely critical to people being safe here, whether you're a walker, a runner, a biker. You've got to let people know when you're making a turn. I mean, this makes all the difference in the world. Again, when we were out there with hundreds of bikers, if people were not, I mean, these were mostly experienced bikers, but again, people were using hand signals, they were talking, and it enabled everything to go smoothly. I'm not saying there may not have been a bang up somewhere along the way, but to see all those people out there successfully navigating those narrow roads was very impressive. And what I found was, again, when I would pass somebody, I would always say, passing on your left, and give them ample warning. And I had several people come back to me and said, thank you very much for doing that, because very few people tell me that, and it makes all the difference in the world. And from my experience biking, it really does make a difference. So again, telling people when you're passing, when somebody passes you, and they tell them that they tell you that they're passing, I always say, thank you, have a good ride. Again, this positive reinforcement, I would strongly recommend everybody undertake, because it does make a difference. And especially with the hand signals. I mean, again, let's face it, people are going to cross one, all right? If you get out there and you've got the left turn signal on, even if there's nobody close by, just making that, I think, can make a big difference.
Sure.
So whether you're turning right, you're turning left, giving people ample warning, I think, is very important. So again, if we can, I know there's some stuff out there about using hand signals, and I would just, again, recommend that everybody consider communication as being critical to what we do, because especially when things get really hectic around here, you're dealing with walkers, runners, bikers, all in a very same, similar space. And if they can communicate with each other, it'll go a long way to keeping everybody safe and happy. That's what we want.
It helps with the drivers, too.
Yes, exactly.
If you're driving and you see a bicyclist use the hand signals, it's helpful.
Yep.
So
anyway, I just wanted to share that again, because I think the event was very successful. It's very well managed by the chamber, but a lot of it was because people were being respectful, and I think that goes a long way. So just thought I'd share.
No, thank you.
Chairman, if I may, Just for a future meeting or discussion, and a couple of us have kind of discussed this, but I think it's the safety elephant in the room that in some ways isn't being addressed. We do a really nice job in this town and in the state, I think, from what I've seen, of creating safe passages for pedestrians, bicycles, and all that. What we don't do is make sure that they're free and clear so that people can use them. The number of times, just yesterday, where I ride south, I don't ride north on Route 1, but the Del Dot trucks that stop and block the entire passageway on the bike paths, where neither people or bicycles can get through, and your option is to, bend out into a 55-mile-an-hour zone so that they can do whatever they're doing, seems to me to be incredibly counterproductive. And I think Bob mentioned something like this earlier. The landscaping people in Bethany West, where we are, they sit there, and then you're watching kids and parents who are walking down in the pedestrian that we created on Collins, right there, and see these kids having to walk out into the street, or bicyclists, all that sort of stuff. I'm not saying I know the solution, and I know it's a complicated issue, but I think it may be something at some point we want to kind of peel the layers of the onion back off and see what kind of recommendations we could make for improvement, because I'm just waiting for the disaster to hit. Somebody is going to walk out, on Route 1 and get cracked by a truck that's going, not even going 55 miles an hour, might be going 65
and it's just that moment in time.
Yeah.
And it's, okay, it doesn't happen, it's not a parking area, but the solution, Dan, for Collins, no parking or stopping signs.
And that would be my wish, Bob. I'm just not sure that'll fly with a lot of the pressures that we've got. We've got to make a decision on the other. I'll give you another alternative, which is, you can stay there as long as you're creating a safe, you're creating a safe way of passage for people who have to come through. And but I don't know. I don't have the solution, but I think we should talk about it, and that may be the only way to do it.
But it's becoming more and more. It's been open now for 3 years, and every year it's just a little bit more being taken advantage of.
Yeah, okay, so let me, I can't resist, Bob, I gotta just respond to that a little bit. Think about what we had before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, no, absolutely.
So we have something a lot better now that people comment on religiously about how much they like that, right? So I don't know what the solution is for a tractor or, for the lawnscape. Where are they gonna go?
trailers,
Where are we gonna put them, right? I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I don't know what the solution is, but saying they can't be there and stop at all, I don't know where they go. I mean, where are they going to park in the tennis lot and drive down to cut
It's just something we need.
Freeze's lawn? I don't.
Well, I have parking for them in my lawn.
Well,
so
you do,
all
yeah,
have to figure it out.
No, so let me.
I have
I
parking.
mean, if we have a solution, I'd love us to engage it, but saying no parking, no stopping.
But it goes back to
You can
what
make
they-
that argument for any road in this town. It's not doable, Bob. There's not enough space, right? We don't have sidewalks. We don't have, boulevards. We don't, it's,
We have workmen.
that's my only.
Yeah, the only alternative is to
It's-
tell them that if I hire a landscaper, he needs to park on my property. But those trucks won't fit in most driveways with the trailers.
Yeah.
And
So-
then you have the same problem, except that they're perpendicular to the road instead of parallel to the road.
But it goes back to
Yeah.
what Dan said, it's just
Yeah.
that momentary incident in time where Route 1, Collins, little kids,
Right.
zipping and zigging, and
Right.
you got the trolley coming, you
Yeah.
got the UPS truck coming,
Yeah.
and it's constant.
So,
Yeah. We're not gonna find a perfect solution.
No, you're not, but
Right.
it's just,
But it's worth a conversation
it's worth the conversation.
right,
on
But-
another day when it's on the agenda.
And then we can give it to Julie to resolve.
right. But part of that, maybe one thing we need to put on the agenda is how do you handle those kind of situations? What if you're going down Route 1 and the road's blocked? What's the right way? So I would talk about stopping rather than just trying to keep maybe you have to stop. Maybe you have to be inconvenienced a little bit. If you're going down Collins and it's blocked and you have little kids, maybe you have to stop and just slow down and think about what's a safe way to get around that. So I would rather approach it that way than with an announcement or something that says you can't park on it. That's just not practical, I don't think. I just don't see how you'd ever do that. Hey, one other positive thing I forgot to mention, and this was one of the ladies I plays tennis in the group I play. She mentioned Jefferson Bridge, you know, the road that connects.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Route
That-
1 to Kent.
That Del Dot is going to put a lane in that?
Yeah.
Has somebody heard that?
Yes, I
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
that's
doesn't fall within Bethany, but it's
So
this,
they need to do something, because you now can't drive through Sea Colony, so there's more, there's more auto traffic, car
Right.
traffic on Jefferson
Right.
Bridge.
I don't-
Which was a lousy place to bike and
right,
walk in the
but
first
that's
place.
a, that's a measure of something that
Yeah.
falls into this,
Yeah,
Well, you have to give Carl
Carl
credit
and,
for that.
Carl and Dan
Yeah.
sort of took this whole idea of how to look at things beyond Bethany and how to partner
Yeah.
with Millville and Ocean View and blah, blah,
so I
blah,
know
blah.
Sea Colony has been asking for that as well.
That's, huh?
Yeah. And then the county came back and
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
we pay
yeah.
for it, and they were like, no.
But that's a good sign. So, great, good conversation, good discussion. Thank you, and for everybody. Okay, we've already canceled the 7:23 meeting.
Yeah.
We've got something else to do that morning. Public comment?
Kathy?
They all left.
Sam, I can't resist. Sam, any perspective? You knew I was going to ask you this, right?
He needs to use the microphone.
You got to use the microphone.
Okay, thank you, Mickey. I have to say the Collins Street pathway has been a huge improvement. My parents and I use it numerous times a day.
Yeah.
I actually bike and walk on it every single day to work. I biked on it this morning to work.
Yeah.
So I have to say thank you. That's been a huge improvement. I will say there are sometimes people that are parked in it.
Yeah.
I don't feel that the street is too busy because you can safely usually maneuver into the lane and then come back over.
Right.
That is something that I think could be looked into on like Kent Avenue and some of those. That gets a little bit more dangerous when you're trying to bike back and forth to work, and then there's somebody sitting in the bike lane on Kent Avenue. That I think is a bigger concern.
Yeah, I mean, there's somebody there this morning.
Yeah. That can get a little bit more dangerous just because you do have more traffic.
Yeah.
That would be something I would definitely recommend like looking into.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
thank you guys again, and I appreciate too. I've enjoyed this opportunity working for the town. Special thank you to you as well, Mickey, and thank you, Taryn, as well. So thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
That's a good political science student, right?
A lawyer.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Melanie? Or Raylene, I'm sorry.
Nothing to contribute to that.
Okay. Thank you. Will, anything we missed that, from your view? Any other comment from the team?
Just something for the team to consider.
Okay,
And this stuck with me since last year with the BBLA walkability study survey. 72% of folks thought it was unsafe. Maybe if we do a town survey similar, with some more specific questions, what, as a thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
To give us a good basis, okay, where do we need to focus in?
yeah, that's a good idea.
Kind of directs us.
We can talk about that in August. It's a good idea.
It's just a thought.
No, it's a good idea. Cliff will hate it.
yeah. No. Well, no, let's, I think Bob and Teresa, it's a really good point. Because to be honest with you, that question doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, it didn't help us at all.
And
It's
it
a
actually
yes, no.
doesn't make sense that all these people are out here doing all this stuff and they think it's that dangerous. If you thought
And
it was
they've
that
never brought it up
dangerous,
before.
you wouldn't,
Yeah.
common sense would say you wouldn't do it if you thought it was that dangerous. But it's because the way the question gets phrased, right?
Yeah.
That it doesn't really add anything to the conversation.
Right.
The walkability study, that's a whole different thing. But
Right.
a question like that doesn't help. Unless it gives you some guidance. It doesn't
Yeah,
give you
that's
any
why I
guidance.
said we're probably.
But your point and Teresa's upgrade was that let's think about how we can do that. And Kathy, you're excellent with this stuff. Help us with any ideas you have.
Right, phrase the question in the right way.
Yeah, and the newsletter is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
That is a great vehicle. So let's make sure we're thinking about communication and everything we ought to do. How can we help Kathy with the newsletter to get that message out for us, okay? So
Yeah.
Kathy's very proactive of taking what we do, but let's help her too,
Yep.
okay? Okay, do we have so we are gonna cancel the 7:23 meeting.
Yep.
We have a meeting scheduled for August.
Yep.
We'll work on that. We've got some go-dos. Any motions to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Teresa? Boy, a lot of hands went up on that one. Does anyone want to stay and just hang around for a while? Meeting's adjourned, and we'll thank you all that participated online. We appreciate. Please share any comments you have with us, and thank you very much. And everybody, thank you for your energy and.
Do you want to take these, do you want me to bring these to the 4th of July?